Hi everyone, welcome to our initial analysis of Slot 2 CAT 2020. So with Slot 1 in the morning, the expectations from Slot 2 were set. People had some idea of what to expect from the test now, especially with respect to the 26, 24, 26 pattern. Now, let's just compare Slot 2 with Slot 1 as well as last year's test. So what are the key takeaways? Firstly, this pattern 26, 24, 26 that has been maintained across the second slot as well, and obviously it will be maintained across the third one as well. Now why do I say so? Because as you would have seen in slot 1, we have been told that there were 2 sets of 6 questions in DILR and 3 sets of 4 questions. That is given as part of the instructions itself, so it's not a surprise in any of the sets. That's part of the overall instructions. So that should not change because that would be hard coded in the overall interface. Now, coming to each section here, I found the verbal section right now to be moderate to difficult. And why do I say it was moderate to tough? Similar structure as in the morning. 2 passages with 5 questions, 2 passages with 4 questions, and varied topics. So we had one on, say, renewable energy. We had one on pirates. It's not piracy, it's pirates. Then, we had one which was slightly more, I would say, abstract in nature. But broadly, if you look at the questions in all these passages, they were all, I would say, inferential in nature. So, for example, questions like which of these, if false, would most support the author's argument except. So you had to do a double negation that fine, first falsify it, then see that whether it will support or not, and then identify the one which will not support it. So those were indeed tricky questions, and attempting anywhere around 2.5 to 3 RCs would have been an exceptional performance there. Coming to the non-RC questions, the breakup was the same as in the morning. That is 3 para jumbles, 3 para summary, and 2 odd man out questions. I found, except for 1 para summary, I found this part quite doable. So if I were attempting this particular mock, my focus would have been on trying to maximize my score through the non-RCs and tackle 2 RCs here. Now, because we now have certain specific evidence compared to the first slot, we can say that a score anywhere around the 42 to 45 mark should be a good score for a 99 percentile. A score around the 38 mark should be good for a 95 plus percentile. On the whole, if you are planning or if you are slotted for the third slot here, I would say 15 to 16 good attempts should be your overall target as far as verbal is concerned. I would ideally try 17 so that even if a couple go wrong, then I end up with around 42. Coming to the DILR section, as I mentioned earlier, 2 sets of 6 questions, 3 sets of 4 questions. Now, while I didn't find the sets conceptually challenging, I didn't find them, unsolvable. What was surprising was the lack of pure DI in terms of bar graphs, line graphs, pie charts, etc. Yes, there were some DI based questions which were tabular in nature, but the sets were quite long, which means that selection was the name of the game. If you had selected the sets well, then you would have been in a good position to try and maximize your score. Anywhere around 3 sets out of 5 with, say, around 15 attempts would be exceptional here. But even if you were able to get a score of around 35, which would translate to approximately 12 to 13 attempts, or 13 correct attempts and 13 attempts and 1 wrong, then you would be on course for a 99 plus percentile, but that is preliminary data. This might change and definitely should change by the time we have the third slot also. So I would expect a 99 percentile somewhere around the low to mid 30s. Coming to the last section, which is quant, I found quant to be a mixed bag. Now, overall quant was moderate to tough. However, there were quite a few sitters, especially on the arithmetic side. So if you were again good at question selection, then Arithmetic especially would have given you a lot of attempts. The test was heavily focused on arithmetic, algebra, equations, maxima minima, some questions in geometry, and some questions in time, speed, and distance. So these were the broad areas covered. One, as I mentioned, once again it was arithmetic and questions on equations and algebra, which would prove to be the saving grace. You could have got marks there. Approximately 15 attempts with 2 to 3 wrong might have been a good performance. In general, you might have wanted to increase it slightly. So if you were to aim at a 40 year or a 42 year, which would require 16 to 17 attempts and 3 wrong at the most, might be a better performance. So these are numbers that we have right now. A detailed analysis will be available in the evening. At 7:30, we will do a short YouTube live session with all of you to discuss the overall test. For now, this is the preliminary analysis of slot 2. Goodbye and all the best to slot 3 aspirants of CAT 2020. Thank you.